are the people that refuse to be feeble. I said, yeah, we are the people.
Hello, this is Will from Refuse to Be Feeble. You know, one of the greatest enemies to our body is stress. And during these times, I can understand why, but let me tell you a story of what happened to me. During my first transplant, I went in for my talk with my doctor, and he was going over my numbers for my blood work. And he looked at me and asked the question, have you been stressing? And he was saying this because my numbers were showing, making an adjustment. Some were going high, some were going low, which is not good for the transplant or for my health. I hesitated for a moment and I was like, no, well, yes, somewhat. Yes, I can say I have been. He got up, calmly walked over to me, looked at me and said, if you stress, you will lose that kidney and you will die. Him telling me this really took me aback. But being young and stubborn, I continued to stress, whereas I thought I wasn't stressing. And then my mother said something to me that really hit me. We're talking, and as we do, we call our parents and complain no matter how old we are. And my mother said to me, you're not too young not to have a stroke. That hit me. So what is stress? What does it do? Stress can affect your body in many ways. It can give you heart disease, heart attack, cause you to have a stroke, cause you to be diabetic, obesity, and it goes on and on. And when you add that with the immunosuppressant drugs that you take, or if you add that with the stresses that you have in life, or you who are not eating correctly, it will wreak havoc upon you. And I tell people all the time that I'm not afraid to die. I'm afraid to live, but to live with an affliction, whereas I will be a burden to someone else I can't do for myself. So if I had to give you one piece of advice, is to learn to let things go. You know, we hold on to stuff so much, and in here, people come in as if this is a dumping ground or for a garbage pit. They load up their garbage trucks all day, they come in here and they dump it. And I've learned to do two things, either ignore or stop them, because I don't want them to dump it on me, because that's added stress to my body. And if you really look at it, my policy is, if something happens and it doesn't affect you in the next 10 years, then why stress about it? So if things bother me, I get it out and boom, I'm done. I try to be done, because some of us carry it on and on. For example, you go to work, you're stressed out all week, you end up bringing it home, and the weekend you can't relax because you're worried about Monday that's coming. And you see what you're doing? And I've told this story before about riding in the car, the person who's complaining and complaining and complaining, got to that house, went through the back to go through to the back door, and instead of going to the door, he went to the tree. And he took his hands and he rubbed the tree. And he went into the house as if nothing bad had happened, laughing with his kids, hugged his wife. And after asking, you know, how could you switch from this to something so happy before you went into the house? He said, you know, it's not fair for me to bring that home to my family, to my wife, to my kids. So what I do is, when I get home, I leave it on the tree. I tell you now, leave yours on the tree and you will feel so much better. Another thing I would say to my son a long time ago, he was going through different problems. I said, you know, be like Teflon. The most amazing thing happened. It was years later. We're sitting in a restaurant where he worked, and he came up and he was talking to us, and he goes, I know, be like Teflon. Best advice I can give you. This is Will.
We are the people that refuse to be feeble. I said, yeah, we are the people that refuse to be feeble. I said, yeah, we are the people that refuse to be feeble. I said, yeah, we are the people that refuse to be